All right, there we are, almost. Now we've got it. Okay, some buttons, you got to hit them in the right order. There we go. Great to be with you. Welcome to Weather Extra. It is 10:30 on your Thursday. I am 48 First Alert Meteorologist Eric Burke. Hopefully you're having a great week so far. Hot and humid again today, but if you've been outside, you might notice that it does feel just a touch more comfortable than what we've had all week long. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, each day we had a heat index over 105 degrees. That's why we had a heat advisory. No heat advisory in effect for today, but that doesn't mean it's any less dangerous if you're outside for any extended period of time. Could still get heat-related illness, both heat exhaustion and heat stroke on a day like today. So it does feel a little bit drier. All that has to do with the dew point. We've got an east-southeasterly wind, and there's a little less humidity out in Georgia, so that breeze is trying to pull in some of that drier air, and our heat index will probably top out around 99 to about 102 or so. But that does feel like a cool down compared to what we've seen the past couple of days. All week it's been pretty rough, and I'm just going to, spoiler alert, get it out there. And next week looks absolutely brutal to end the month of July and head into August. This is probably going to be the hottest week of our summer season. At least I hope it is, as we're forecasting high temperatures in the upper 90s to lower 100s. So let's get right to it here on this Thursday. The radar, quiet right now. Yesterday, a little after Weather Extra wrapped up, we did start to see our first showers of the day popping up in our western counties. Looks like we're dry. I think our rain and storm chances for today are even lower than what we saw for yesterday. So a lot of you missing out on the rain. You might be getting to the point where you've missed a lot of the days. We've had the kind of pop-up showers and storms. If that's the case, you still have a chance coming for tomorrow. Actually, a better chance of scattered showers and storms coming for Friday. The weekend is trending a bit drier. That is good news for any outside plans you may have over the weekend, but something we're obviously going to watch will be those pop-up showers and storms developing for both Saturday afternoon and Sunday. And the reason we've got higher chances for rain and storms tomorrow, it's actually a center of low pressure in the Gulf. I talked about that yesterday. For today, we are mostly sunny. Heat index upper 90s, lower 100s. That east-southeast wind about 5 to 10. But by Sunday, we really start to see that heat building back in. Big ridge of high pressure over the southeast U.S., and some may refer to that as a heat dome, and our temperatures are going to shoot up. Sunday is just the start of a very hot and humid stretch of days coming our way, and that's how we're going to round out the month of July. Temperatures this month have been above average. I'm sure you've noticed. If you've gotten your electric bill, I'm sure your electric meter also noticed how hot it has been. So those bills tend to go up during the summer, and also when we get those cold stretches during the winter months. I would go for one of those colder stretches right now. I know we complain about the cold when it's here, but a day like today and what we've had this week doesn't sound too bad. Let's go out to Marshall County. Here's a Fly HSV Delta Cam in Gunnersville. Mainly sunny, just a few fair weather cumulus clouds. Would be a good day to be out on the water, taking it in. We're going with just isolated downpours, a few rumbles of thunder. That's it. Coverage was minimal yesterday, expecting probably even less coverage of any isolated downpours and storms as we go through the day today. Should wrap up around sunset if we do have anything on the radar. High temperatures today will be in the low to mid 90s. Our average high is 92. Factor in that slightly lower dew point though, and it makes a big difference because it will only feel like upper 90s to lower 100s as we go through the day. But still, heat safety, hydration, you know the drill. We're stringing together all these days in a row now of these hot, humid conditions, and it starts to really take a toll on your body, especially if you are required to work outside. Now, by tomorrow, the wind is a bit more southerly, and that's going to bring up some of that Gulf moisture associated with that center of low pressure that's down in the Gulf. As the moisture returns, our temperatures still warm up. It looks like our heat index is going to be in the upper 90s to lower 100s again. Now, I think we do see a little bit of relief, though, in the form of some of that rain cool air. If you see a shower or storm tomorrow, that will knock down your temperatures and your humidity, at least briefly. So, similar day tomorrow compared to what we're seeing today. I think tomorrow will just feel more humid, but there's a better chance of seeing those showers and storms popping up into the afternoon. Here's our 8-hour forecast. Temperatures just well on their way into the low to mid 90s again. I think we'll see more cumulus clouds starting to build in as we go into this afternoon. Let's talk temperatures here. 86 Scottsboro, 85 Fort Payne, 84 up in Fayetteville, 84 in Moulton, and 85 right now in Russellville. You've got 88 in the Shoals, but the dew point, it's not 75 to 78 like we've seen. We've got 77 there in Pulaski, and I've mentioned this before. I think that dew point sensor tends to run a little bit on the warm side. But 67 in Scottsboro, even 70 in Fort Payne. And again, if we could get some of that drier air continuing to track from east to west and that dew point falls a little bit, it's really going to make a difference as far as your comfort level on a day like today. But it does still feel like 98 right now out in the Shoals. Florence there, it's 10:35 in the morning. This is a slower warm-up than what we've seen the past couple of days, but still it is July and it's hot, it's humid, and that sun's just kind of beating down on you. Wind today out of the east-southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Imagine we might see a gust or two up to about 10 to 12. We are watching this center of low pressure. Very low chance of seeing anything tropical coming out of this, but it's still a low, and that's going to produce some weather, mainly looking at a heavier rain threat, probably 3 to 6 inches of rainfall falling across parts of East Texas there along the Gulf into Louisiana, maybe even parts of southern Mississippi too. Some rip current risks too if you have beach plans, something to be aware of. Of course, they always fly the flags at the beach letting you know kind of the surf conditions. But when you have a low out there, it is going to give you a bit rougher of a tide and surf, and then that does increase your risk for rip currents. But we'll have a new update coming out about 12:30 or so this afternoon from the Hurricane Center, and they might even put zeros as far as the chance of any cyclone development. So let's look at it here. Going through the rest of the day, a lot of sunshine, a few more clouds pushing in, building up by the afternoon, but very, very isolated shower and storm potential. This is probably the driest day we're going to have for the entire week. Any shower storms that get going, wrapping up around sunset. For your Friday morning, we start off warm and muggy again, mid to upper 70s for morning temperatures. We're mainly sunny early, becoming partly, maybe even mostly cloudy by the afternoon. And a lot of that has to do with that low, and we get that moisture coming in, and then those scattered showers and storms start to develop, probably tracking from about the southeast to the northwest. This model run, the graph model in particular, kind of favoring areas along and west of I-65. And then that continues through Friday evening, wrapping up. Now, a good portion of your Saturday will be mostly sunny, very hot, should be dry, depends on how much rain and storm coverage we see. Saturday, I think, is a bit more isolated in nature, and then by Thursday, looks like we're dry as well. A lot of this rainfall that the model is going to put out, it's the model that I just showed you, favoring western areas. But if you do get one of those downpours, you could easily pick up a quarter to half an inch of rain in less than 30 minutes. If it's a very slow-moving or stationary downpour or storm, then you could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. So this model is not super helpful this time of year just because it's that chaos theory, and it's all dependent on where the model thinks it's going to rain, and then it shows a lot of dry areas too, which is a possibility. Not everyone's seeing rain or storms today, as well as through the day on Friday, even though Friday brings a higher chance and likelihood of seeing showers and storms. There's that low. Mentioned some pretty lousy beach weather if you look closely there, right along the beaches in the Gulf too, through Florida, out to Orange Beach. You've got Destin, Pensacola, there toward more Mobile, even into the New Orleans area. That's where that heavy rainfall threat is associated with that low that the Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. 75 overnight tonight, mostly clear. Very warm again. I think the muggy factor starts to creep back in by tomorrow. If you happen to see rain and storms this afternoon, there's a higher chance that you actually see some areas of patchy but dense fog for your morning commute on Friday. Friday commutes are tough as it is, and in a couple weeks we're going to have the school buses back on the roads, and you know everything gets a little crazy for the first couple of weeks of school as everyone is kind of figuring out their routine. So for tomorrow, a little bit more cloud cover coming in. Showers and storms right around lunchtime, early afternoon should be fairly isolated, then becoming a bit more scattered. As with any summertime thunderstorm, it's the threat for heavy rain, frequent lightning, and gusty winds. Gusty winds should be brief, but it always doesn't take a severe wind gust to maybe knock down some trees, or people even lost power earlier this week. I think that was either Monday night or Tuesday night. Some of those stronger storms did have some gusty winds with it. So going with scattered showers and storms as we go through the day on Friday. And then the weekend, mostly dry. You'll really start to feel that humidity building in by the day on Sunday. Sunday's heat index anywhere from probably 100 to 106. so might be close to heat advisory criteria. And I think heat advisories, if not even excessive heat warnings, which is one level higher than a heat advisory, excessive heat warnings, potentially looking at that for maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday of next week. We're forecasting the air temperature to be 99 to 100 degrees, and that's brutal, but then you factor in a higher dew point in the mid-70s. We could have a feels like temperature over 110. So that's it. I'm warning you, next week is going to be especially brutal on us and not too forgiving. It is almost August. Kids are going back to school soon, but that is looking just tough, at least by the numbers. Good news, though, at the end of your 10-day, day 9 and 10, that Friday, Saturday. So the following weekend, looks like we could have a front potentially coming in. That would knock down our highs. That would bring us better chances for rain and storms, too. So that's it. That's your weather extra on this Thursday morning. Hope you join me at 11 for Tennessee Valley Living with Peyton Walker. And I'll also be on your newscast at noon with Gina Benitez. All of you that wished Heather, my wife, and myself a happy anniversary yesterday on my Facebook page, that was awesome. We appreciate the love and appreciate your guys' support. So have a good day. Stay cool. Better chances for storms tomorrow. And then we just sweat it out for the rest of the weekend and into next week. Have a great Thursday. Thanks for your time.